Hello everyone. So today I'm not going to be reacting to anything, but I'm going to go over this article from the New York Post called Britney Spears' Family Has a Long Dark History of Locking Women Up. Because, a New York Post, I'm not saying it's the most reliable, source, but I feel like it's definitely worth looking into. And I love Britney Spears, and if this is true, this is freaking disgusting, and it kind of makes sense as to why her father Jamie is horrible. Apparently Britney's family, particularly Jamie Spears, the side of the family, has a history of abuse and just mistreatment of women. And you'll see that some of the things that apparently, Jamie's father, Britney's grandfather, did to Britney's grandmother, his wife, are kind of similar to what Jamie was doing to Britney. So that's really, crazy. And it definitely makes a lot of sense as if it's true about why Jamie did that to Britney. I guess, sadly, it runs in the family. Apparently the Spears men are just pretty horrible. Not just horrible, just monsters. This article, they do talk to quite a number of people that actually knew the family, so that's why I wanted to read it, because they're not just going off of whatever they see on the internet. They actually did talk to people in Kentwood who actually knew the family. The article is by Dana Kennedy, so let's go through it. Just trigger warning, if you feel at all uncomfortable as I'm going through this, feel free to stop the video, don't keep watching it. They do talk about some kind of dark topics. I haven't read the whole article, I've just read some excerpts on it, but yeah, I just wanted to issue that trigger warning. So let's go through the article. The local museum that houses a virtual shrine to the town's most famous resident, mega pop star Britney Spears, used to be a funeral home. It's one of the few places still open among the abandoned and ruined buildings in the tiny town center. The vibe is still funereal, despite the best efforts of Faye Geringer, curator of the Kentwood Historic and Cultural Museum, a friend of both Britney's parents. She said she used to make the hair bows Britney wore when she performed in everything she could when she was a little girl. Geringer, who looks younger than her 80 years, gamely shows off artifacts like the angel wings Britney wore during the Femme Fatale tour of 2011 and the glassed-in replica of Britney's entire teenage bedroom, made famous when the then 17-year-old posed seductively next to her dolls and teddy bears in a famous 1999 Rolling Stone cover story. Definitely remember that cover. But it's as if she's describing a dead icon, not the one-time golden girl from this rough slice of northern Louisiana, just a few miles from the Mississippi border, who is still only 39 and very much alive. Geringer likes to point out the facial resemblance between Britney's grandmother Emma Jean Spears, who killed herself at age 31 with a shotgun on the grave of her infant son in May 1966, by gesturing first at a framed photo of a fresh-faced young Jean, as they called her, and a blown-up poster of Britney on the opposite wall. That death had a big impact in that family, Geringer said of Emma Jean's suicide and Britney's father's Jamie. It took a big toll on Jamie. Geringer, like many in this tiny rural town, is shell-shocked by the recent revelations and fast-moving developments in the torturous saga of Britney's 13-year conservatorship. But locals hate talking about it, especially to outsiders. Over the past 20 years, visitors have reported being threatened with guns or by the local sheriff. The author of a 2009 biography of Britney told the Post that he had been warned not to go into the local VFW bar, the Dub, or he would find himself eating gravel in the parking lot. Oh my gosh. This Post reporter was told to leave by the manager, who came out as soon as I pulled into the driveway. What? I know what they're saying about Jamie, but he's not a bad man, Geringer told the Post. Britney's mom and Jamie's ex-wife. Lynn is a good person too. They aren't monsters. This is a small town. We're good, honest country people. They got swallowed up by the Hollywood machine, by people who aren't like us. None of them were equipped to deal with it. Not Jamie, Lynn, or Britney. Okay, lady. I know you mean well, and I guess, because they're your friends. And it's probably hard for you to understand that, your friends could be horrible, but have you not heard what Jamie has supposedly been doing to Britney? I'm sorry, just because they're friends doesn't mean that they can't be hiding stuff from you. And you can't just blame, Hollywood. Yeah, I'm not saying Hollywood is great. No, it's not. I've lived there and I worked in the industry. There are definitely a lot of bad people and bad influences there. But, Jamie and Lynn are also adults. And they also have a responsibility to take care of their daughter and love their daughter. And they didn't really seem to do that. So, yeah, just because they're your friends doesn't mean they can't be bad. 2 weeks ago, Britney won a big victory in court when a judge declared her dad's control over her life was toxic and granted her request to oust him as conservator of her estate. Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Brenda Penny agreed that it was in Britney's best interest to suspend Jamie from the legal arrangement that has controlled the singer's life and money for the last 13 years. The ruling came after Britney's attorney Matthew Rosengart petitioned the court to immediately suspend Jamie Spears from the role, arguing his continued involvement has done nothing but prolong the Kafkaesque nightmare that has been Britney's life since the conservatorship was established in 2008 after her very public meltdown. Good reference. I love Franz Kafka. Definitely some dark stuff. Jamie mostly lives in Kentwood, although he sold Britney's childhood home behind Greenlaw Baptist Church for $275,000 in February. The Spears' next-door neighbor of many years still lives in the same home and told the Post that she used to babysit for a sweet and energetic Britney. The woman who did not want her name used was quick to defend Jamie, as many here are. I mean, I know I'm from a small town, okay, so I understand, the small town feel and how, people stick by each other and you don't think everyone's just so good. And just because you're from a small town doesn't mean you can't be bad. So, yeah. Several local women in Kentwood and Oiska, Mississippi, which lies on the state border just 5 miles north, remember Jamie Spears back when he was the hot basketball and football star at Kentwood High School. Every woman wanted Jamie, a Kentwood High classmate 3 years his junior, told the Post. The 64-year-old woman asked that her name be withheld because she's afraid of repercussions, even if what she says about the Spears family is positive. He could really have gone places. He was so handsome and so talented. Okay, so what? Because he's handsome and talented, he can't be horrible? Someone's looks does not have anything to do with whether or not they're a good person. The woman's friend, 63, said the criticism of Jamie is unfair. That man worked so hard for years, she said. He had a business building metal sheds out in the hot sun, and he did that for years. He's not some bloodsucker. I think Britney is spoiled, if you ask me. Well, I mean, they're a little older, so they're from, older generation, and, they think differently. If you're from this generation and you're more caught up with the times, that's good for you. But, I know from dealing with older people in my family, my grandparents, and rest in peace, but it's hard for them to kind of get with the times. And especially like seeing women now, younger women being more independent and stuff like that. Some people see it as a bad thing because that's not what it was like back in their day. So I think that's one reason that they probably think that Britney is spoiled. Are you kidding me? Britney has worked hard her whole freaking life for what she has. Jamie did not earn Britney's money. He is not entitled to Britney's money just because his sperm helped to make her. Just because of that, he gets all her money or a lot of it and he gets to control her life? No. Okay? So, lady, do not say Britney is spoiled. She's one of the hardest working women I've ever seen in my life. Do you know her song Work Bee? Have you heard that song? Okay, maybe Jamie, all of you have to listen to that song. Okay, she is not spoiled. Okay? And he is not entitled to her money. Okay? Just because you're someone's parent doesn't mean you're entitled to everything. No. That's not, no. If you think that as a parent, go get some therapy. No. Okay? You're responsible to raise a child, hopefully raise them well, and then they can live their own life. If they want to give you money, cool. If they don't want to give you money, okay. Unless maybe, you work together and there's a contract or something and they're going to pay you because you're their employee, okay. But other than that, you're not entitled to your child's money. All right. And from what we've heard from other accounts, Jamie had a lot of failed businesses. So, he would try a lot to make things work and it just didn't work out. So apparently he was not that great. And also he was an alcoholic. So that's not going to help you succeed. You know, I think if anyone is spoiled, it's the dad, because he doesn't want to work. He wants to live off his daughter. So who's the spoiled one? Some members of Jamie's immediate family say it's typical for people in the town to defend Jamie. Okay, so let's hear from Jamie's immediate family. John Mark Spears, 52, who is Jamie's half-brother, said that their father, June Austin Spears, who died in 2012, was a terrible man who was abusive to most of the 10 children he had with his 3 wives. Some of the 10 are dead. Ugh. Like 62-year-old Austin, who died earlier this year of cirrhosis and liver cancer after years of drinking and homelessness. So I guess alcoholism is a problem in the family. These Spears men are something awful, John Mark, Britney's uncle, said. They've gotten away with so much, especially to their women, for years. Wow. Well, at least we have one good, decent Spears guy. Or man. And he's actually speaking out. So thank you, John Mark. I wish you would have spoken out earlier, but I guess it's good that you're saying it now. John Mark said all the family's toxicity can be traced to his and Jamie's dad. Okay, they've said toxic twice already. The Britney references, this family, you know, really is quite, you know, just outrageous. God. It's just Britney's lyrics are so relevant in this story. Okay, her song titles. Okay, never mind. So, you know, apparently, you know, Jamie's dad was horrible. He was a monster, but nobody would say a bad word about him outside the family. Just like no one will say a bad word about Jamie around here. So everyone's a scaredy cat. Everyone's scared of these guys. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not scared of you. I'm sorry. I would rather risk my life telling everyone about you. You guys are all selfish. Not John Mark, but the ones who are scared of Jamie, like Lynn, Britney's mom. I'm sorry, she's a coward, in my opinion. Anyway, John Mark, who talked to the Post at his home in Osika. Sorry, I think I pronounced it wrong earlier. Osika or Saika, I don't know. Where he has been a boiler maker like his father for 22 years, said June Austen beat his children violently and caused both of his first 2 wives to go off the rails. All right. He ruined Emma Jean and he ruined my mama, Joanne, deceased, John Mark said. He shipped them both off to Mandeville, the state's former notorious mental hospital, from time to time. So I'm not too surprised about what Jamie's done to Britney. It's all about control with the Spears men. Does that sound familiar? Britney's grandfather sent his 2 wives off to a mental institution. Who else got sent to a mental institution? Britney got sent by her dad in January 2019? Runs in the family, apparently. Jamie's half-sister and Britney's aunt, Leanne Spears, 54, who now lives in Springfield, Tennessee, says she left home at 16 after being SA'd by their father from the age of 11. After he AR'd her one day, she asked a friend to help her escape. The friend's mother arranged to meet Leanne at a local mall. I never went back except to visit a few times, who retired after 26 years in the Navy, told the Post. I've been dealing with it my whole life. He used to line us kids up and whip us. We'd go to church where my daddy was a deacon, and on the way home, he'd make me bee him off. I hope he's burning in heck. Yeah, so obvious abuse right there. I'm so sorry, like, that's just horrible. Like, I'm glad she escaped, but wow, June, Britney's grandfather, just awful, like, just, it's like every awful thing you could do to someone, he's doing it. It really seems like they just really, yeah, he physically abused the boys too, but, you know, he did a little more with the daughter. Like, they just really seem to hate women and want to control them. Rather, who began a blog in August about her childhood, said her father forced her mother, Jamie Spears, on the drug lithium for a while. Sound familiar? Forcing a woman to go on lithium. Who else was forced to go on lithium? Britney. Wow, Jamie's just, you know, taking pages right out of his dad's playbook. My mom was like a debutante. She came from a good family and was considered a catch, Leanne said. But daddy, I hate even calling him that, drove her crazy. Oh gosh, another Britney song reference. Like, I know she's not doing it on purpose, but it's just crazy how it's just, the song titles just happened. He institutionalized her at Mandeville a few times and put her on lithium. When I heard that Britney was put on lithium for a while, I almost couldn't believe it, but it made sense. Typical for this family and how they treat their women. My gosh. Both John Mark and Leanne said they have some doubts about whether or not Emma Jean Spears' death was really a suicide. The death got an unusual amount of attention, even running on the front page of the Kentwood local paper. It was also quite detailed for the shotgun had been pressed against the woman's chest, and she apparently pulled the trigger with the toe of the right foot from which a shoe had been removed. The newspaper said at the time. The account also said that Emma Jean splayed out her left leg across the grave before checking that the 12-bore shotgun was ready and loaded with a single shell. So she shot herself here? I don't know. Yeah, that sounds a little suspicious. Usually when people actually commit that, it's not here. You know, it's this part. That's usually where they do it. That definitely seems like it's more of someone else doing it to you. So here's a photo of Britney, Lynn, Jamie, and sexist brother Brian. Don't let that little picture fool you, okay? He's a sexist jerk who doesn't like independent women who think for themselves. And coming from an independent woman who thinks for herself, Brian, screw you. A Kentwood High classmate of Jamie's recalled to the Post how in May 1966, she was 8 years old and pushing cows across the pastures near Osceola, Mississippi, when she and her parents noticed a vehicle at Roberts Cemetery and no one was around. Then we found out who it was and how it happened, said the classmate, who did not want to give her name but took a reporter out to Emma Jean's grave, right next to her baby son Austin Wayne, which lies in a cemetery surrounded by bucolic fields and pastures. Hopefully I pronounced that correct. But John Mark and Leanne question how anyone really knows how it happened. The local newspaper reported that Emma Jean's husband, June Austin, told the coroner his wife had tried to commit suicide several times before and was still depressed over the death of her son, who died when he was 3 years old. No one knows what happened because no one was there, Leanne said. But you can bet my daddy pulled the trigger one way or the other, even if he wasn't there. So even if he didn't physically shoot her, he might have pushed her to do that. Leanne said she was stationed in San Diego for the Navy and after a few years of therapy called her brothers and sisters and their spouses to tell them their father had R'd her. You know who believed me? She said, only Lynn Spears. I got nothing bad to say about Lynn. Well, back in the day, Lynn was good. I'm sorry, it's just, I can't get over how you cannot defend your daughter and, like, try everything you can to get her out of a conservatorship for 13 years. So, Lynn, don't really forgive you. But, you know, at least you believed her story. That's good. Here's a horrible grandfather. Here's a picture of the Spears family with June right there's the, you know, yeah, he's old. You kind of want to feel bad for him, but he did some awful things. So looks can be deceiving people. This might seem like a beautiful, loving family, but maybe at the time they were, but then they showed their true colors, you know, in 2008 and after that. So Jamie, Lynn, you stink. Lynn, I'm sorry, you stink. I can't forgive you for not, you know, fighting for your daughter as much as you could. Brian, you're sexist, so you stink. And Jamie, you definitely stink too. So, and June, obviously you did some horrible things to your daughter and your kids. And you institutionalize your wives. Like, no. The Spears men need to be held accountable, Leanne said. Thank goodness Britney got a good lawyer. Jamie did to her what my daddy did to my mom and Emma Jean. They are mean and they will destroy you if they can't control you. Yeah, definitely. That's definitely what it seems like. But I think Britney will survive. She's a beautiful person with a beautiful soul. Yes. Yes, she is. That's why we love her so much. That's why I love her. Like, I've always been able to tell, like, Britney's just such a good person, just so sweet. I just can't cry because I'm going to go to work, but I think that's what hurts. It's just seeing someone just so sweet and just so loving, and you can tell she really loved her family, and just to see how they could hurt her for so long, it's really just disgusting, and it just it hurts, because she's so, how can you do that? Like, I don't know how you can hurt someone so sweet. Like, I have a hard time, like, being mean to someone who's mean to me sometimes. Like, if someone is, like, sweet but annoying, like, I still have a hard time, like, but if someone's just, like, sweet and, like, just, they're not annoying and they're not, like, just, how can you hurt them? I don't understand. I feel like people who hurt sweet people, they're evil. Like, they're really evil. Like, if you can hurt someone who's nice, you're a psychopath. Like, I don't know, like, you have no soul. I don't know how you can hurt a sweet person. Jamie Spears did not respond to voice and text messages, so this reporter went out to a gate leading to a small concrete storage unit on a vast spread on the edge of Kentwood. So this reporter actually tried to talk to Jamie. He's been living in an RV behind the unit off and on for about 2 years. Some locals say he has done it to show he isn't living large on Britney's money. Yeah, you're not fooling anyone, Jamie, okay? After this reporter called Jamie to see if he wanted to come out and give his side of the story, a man wearing a baseball cap and driving a golf cart, accompanied by a fiercely barking dog, pulled out from behind the storage unit and drove to the gate. Ugh. So you have a dog that you probably abused to make him really angry. Like, I feel bad for the dog. He identified himself as the head of security, but looked very much like Jamie Spears, who has lost so much weight recently that John Mark said he didn't even recognize him when he ran into him downtown recently. Okay, so you have security in your RV? Okay. Because you're not living large, right? If you're not living large, like, you wouldn't be able to afford security. I know that's probably not actual security, it's actually him, but it's just kind of funny. Like, you're trying to pretend that you're not living large, but at the same time, you also can afford security. Like, I called the law and they's coming, he yelled. You got one warning. Where's your vehicle? Go get in your vehicle and get out of here now. Bye. Go now. Bye. That sounds like Jamie, said John Mark. He doesn't care about what the outside world thinks. He doesn't care about his reputation. He's a stubborn son of a beep. And I'll probably get a visit from him after this story. Wow. Well, John Mark, you know what? I commend you for at least coming out and, saying your truth and revealing just how horrible, the Spears men are. But you're one of the good ones, apparently. At least you have the guts. I commend you for that. You have the guts, because you said that, he might get a visit from Jamie after coming out. But you at least took the risk. You have the guts, which is something that Lynn Spears does not have because she was abused. Like, I understand, that you do have reasons to be scared. But at the same time, I just don't know how you can just not do anything to help your daughter for so long, just because you're so scared of the death. I feel like at some point you have to take a risk and help your child. I don't know. I can't. It's been too long, Lynn. You didn't really do much. I'm sorry. I don't believe that you did everything you could. If you did everything you could, okay, but I really feel like you did it. And, according to the New Yorker piece, the really long one by Ronan Farrow and another writer, a journalist, they talked to Lynn and, apparently Lynn, she would tell Britney, oh, just do what daddy says, so, there's no trouble and Britney can still see her kids. No, Lynn, that's not what you say. Oh, just keep being abused by your dad. Keep being taken advantage of by your dad. No, if you really cared, you would, I don't know, find some way to help your daughter. Not just be just go along with it. Go along with the abuse. No. Yeah, Lynn, you failed your daughter. I'm sorry. And Britney, I hope you don't invite any of your family to your wedding. They don't deserve it. Don't let anyone guilt you into inviting your family to the wedding. They don't deserve to go. I'm sorry. The only person is maybe this uncle, John Mark Spears, and maybe Leanne as well. They're the only ones that deserve to go. I don't know about, other family members, maybe some cousins that are still nice to you and support you and stuff. But Brian, Jamie Lynn, nobody should go to the wedding. I'm sorry. No, you don't deserve to go to the wedding. Britney, I hope you get married soon and you're happy. And I hope you get to be reunited with your boys soon. They're very handsome. I saw that picture recently that, Kevin's friend shared, and they have, good looking parents. So obviously not surprising that they're handsome boys, but I hope you get to spend time with them. soon and just get reunited and have a beautiful wedding. And I wish I could go because I love you so much. I just want to be there in your happy day with Sam. And Sam, you're awesome. I'm glad that you, Britney, and Sam can build your own little family together, and it's going to be much better than, you know, your family that you got stuck with. I'm so sorry, Britney. I understand. I'm not close with my family either. So let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. You can follow my social media here. I feel like, you know, there's a good chance this is true because they, you know, did talk to family members, and I just wish they would have come out earlier. But it, you know, it does make sense, you know, that, you know, Jamie, it's crazy how Jamie did pretty much the same thing and more to Britney that, you know, his dad did to his wives. Like, Spears men, I guess, wow, they really just hate women. Want to control them. And, you know, Jamie was abusive to Lynn's, you know, Britney, Lynn Spears, Britney's mom. So just stay away from Spears men, you know, ladies. Just, they're pretty horrible. I'm glad Jamie has been suspended from her conservatorship, and Britney's nightmare will hopefully be over soon, and the conservatorship will be completely just disbanded, and she can be happy with Sam and her boys, and hopefully she'll have a little girl like she wants. And sending out a hug to Britney. I love you. And shout out to Sam for being so good to her. Just, it makes me really happy when I see his posts and just how happy they are with each other. Like, she really needs that. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to reading your comments, and I will see you next time. Bye.